So, hello again, welcome everybody to our videos with Alasart. This time we have a special guest from Israel, actually. She has amazing work in herself, and also she have a different kind of painters and ways of express herself. Let's begin with this interview. Let's see.
Okay, it's interesting. I started reading. You send the questions before, which I found many interviewers do. It's very interesting. And I realized, and the biography is the first question, right? Or something like that. And I looked up at Webster. Webster 1828 is a very recommended dictionary to look at the basic, at the truth, at the authentic meaning of words, because from that time, the environment changed the meaning of words. So biography, when I looked at biography, I realized that it's kind of a graphic or a record of my life. And you asked to say it in 10 words. So I'll try to say
yes.
10 words. And I had an idea also to voice painting it, because I'm a voice painter. So my life basically is, I was born, now I'm living, and I will probably die. That's basically the biography, the life, how I register my life. Now, if we get to more resolution, to deeper resolution or bigger resolution, I would say that, like all humanity, I was born very, very happy, with a livelihood, and I was born into a family that already started this, not when I say destroying, it's not the right word, but it's with good intentions, like all society today is basically sorry, yes, but that's a color of a word. I mean, most of society is fucked up. Mm-hmm. Most of society is a slave. And I became a slave. So if I will, again, say my biography, I was born free, I got enslaved, and now I'm getting out of this slavery, at least consciously, not necessarily physically, because I'm a slave to the governments. I'm a slave to my identity card. I'm a slave as I need to pay taxes. That's basically my biography. So I was born. Something like that.
Nice. I like that. How do you call it? Voice painter?
Yeah, I call myself today, I paint with voice and with brush. That's a great question. A slave is a person, is basically a person, and I divide between a person and a man or a woman. A person is a fictitious identity, that stands in courts, that that have a identity card, that have a driving license, that pay taxes, that do what the government tells them to do. And today, when you get out of this slave mentality, I ask myself, who said? Who said I have to say yes to the authorities? And this authority as a government is basically a corporation which tells that cannot create laws, and it really governs. It's a mind control system. Look at the government. Government from Latin is mind control. And that's basically we're all under that spell, like spelling, like words. Mm-hmm. And when we get out of this perspective, we understand that we can choose not to cooperate with this entity, which I respect. I mean, they're genius. They're doing things, all these systems that they've built. I don't respect it. I mean, I want to get out of it. I don't want to fight it. No. I want to just live it, and I'm in my own rhythm. I will do it. I already closed my business. I don't want to pay taxes on something that I do. I don't want the government, or who is the government? Just show me. It's a two-dimensional entity. So I would like to. That's one angle of getting out of the slave mentality concerning my environment. But slave mentality is also to be addicted to different patterns that when I was young, I used them as protectors from my close environments. If someone hurt me, I chose I chose a certain strategy that will protect me. And this strategy can be self-pity or self-blame or being angry, controlling, being victimized, crying that I don't have enough. It's all those strategies that I use in order to attract my abuser, light or strong abuser, it really depends. And realizing that I chose to be a woman, a living woman that separates from her wounded child to something which is more mature, that can be connected to her higher self or spirit or God. It doesn't matter what's the name. The idea is to get out of this vicious circle of how miserable I am and how they are to be blamed. And no, I take responsibility. This is a way of taking, getting out of my slave mentality rhythm.
And you also speak about conscious. I would like to know what is conscious for you.
Okay, so conscious or consciousness for me is a rule set. Basically, it's a rule set that I adopt or I create in order to feel safe, feel authentic. That's it, basically. I take it like a computer. I cannot, if I have a bad programming, my computer will run in a way that will make the user really crazy or give him some wrong information or not authentic information. So I create the life that I want. You know, it's higher consciousness because I already have what you mentioned, this perspective of looking at the body and the spirit that surrounds me, which is 99% of who I truly are. And the spirit is kind of rendering my physical body with its emotions and with its thoughts and all the physicality of the bones and the blood and the inner organs, which for me, each organ is a consciousness, is a kind of consciousness. You see? So if I respect my body as the most progressive, amazing, genius machine in the world, I will respect it. I will do anything that I can, anything that in my power, in my ability to treat it as with honor, the best that I can, eat the right food, live try to live not in the city. In my case, yes, because the city is not good for me. It's dirty. Although I love the city, you know, I don't, you know, I love going to the city here and there and nourish myself with, you know, impressions that are in the city or culture or music or art, but I don't like living in the city. So consciousness basically is a system that I create to myself. I don't need an affirmation of anyone to tell me that it's true or not.
Okay.
You know, the only thing that affirms my way of consciousness or the form of it or the non-form of it is the well-being of my life.
Okay.
And it goes up and down and up and down all the time. That's kind of as nature, it's its nature. But in consciousness, in my case, I aim to do it up and down, but on you know, it goes up. The line is towards up. Okay, so I speak English and Hebrew. Hebrew is my language, it's a language that I love. You know, it has root words, you know, it's a language with roots, that the letters, each letter for me is a consciousness. Each word is a consciousness, you know, and it's a consciousness that has like a frequency band. Like, let's take, for instance, I've just heard about someone that wrote about the art of war, the war of art, Stephen something. And he says that the moment that you are with the ego, you cannot create. For me, I disagree. It's not that I'm against, I just, in my perspective, shows me a little bit different phenomena, I would say, because for me, every word that exists in the language, let's take ego, for instance, is a consciousness which has frequency bandwidth, which can be very low to very high. Mm-hmm. Now, when your ego is low, low frequency, mm-hmm. you use this word, this consciousness, to put others down.
Yes.
When it is high frequency, you use it intentionally, wisely, intelligently to bring yourself as a woman who speaks and, lives the physical. So when your ego has high frequency range, is on the high frequency range, your ability to bring your spirit into doing or being in the physical world is much higher. When you are on the lower level of frequency in this consciousness called ego, you basically think that you're only physical. You think of the spirit as something that you can talk about, but you don't resonate in. And you create a separation between you and other people that you really basically want to connect like anyone else. So my language basically is the frequency language. I'm a musician. As part of my art, I sing, I play the music, and I play with color. So I'm painting. I'm painting my face. During the corona, I've painted my faces with different masks. To bring again the message of my womanhood or my living womanhood, a free woman.
You are a musician and an artist. Where do you study this?
So music, I did go. I wouldn't say that I studied. I wasn't such a good student. I chose to go to study music, flute. I play the flute. It's more true to say that I played in the past. I don't play it so much today. And I went to the academy in the Tel Aviv University just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to choose to study.
Okay.
And music was easy for me. And that's the slave. I was under the spell of you. After you go out of the army, you go to a trip in India or South America or wherever. And then you come back, you study in the university, then you get married, you do children, you take a mortgage, you buy a house, yes, and you get deeper into the ground by working and working and working. That's kind of the spell I was under. But I always had this urge to get out of it. So after I finished the academy, I didn't even take the B music. It wasn't something that, all those, certificates that you get into a doctor's office, and there's many certificates, and you come to him and say, "What's your name? Give me your card." He doesn't even look at you, and he has so many certificates on the wall.
Oh God.
It's a description that kind of helps me to explain to you what's my thoughts or how I feel about certificates.
Yes. Okay.
So basically, the music is I went to the academy, and most of the music that I really learned was out of the academy as an autodidact. In the United States, I played for 7 years in the school that you and me were together. mastered it in a way, and had the need to continue. So I played chamber music, but then the real music really kind of penetrated in, and the music of my heart, whatever that means, that's for me. And the art, the painting, I mean.
Painting.
It's everything that I did is autodidact. I just learned by myself. And I'm saying by myself, this abstract of what you call consciousness of self. What is this self? What is it? I mean, it's not something that you can touch. You can see the output of it, right? You can see how it manifests in the physical world. But the more I took all kinds of toxic information that was in my, so if I'm an instrument with a resonance box, right? Every instrument has a resonance box. Like we, as a woman or man, we have 5 resonance boxes in our body. One of them is the mouth, another one is the lungs. We have 3 more. It doesn't really matter. But if I am an instrument, a divine instrument, created by creation, right? And I'm toxic, my resonance box is full of toxic information, which is not true, and taking me away from this abstraction of what we call self. How can I be happy in this world? Impossible.
Yes, no. Okay.
And that's, this is what I've found as my inner music. The more I detoxed all kinds of patterns that doesn't motivate life in me, but they all only motivate depression and anger and blame and jealousy. So I went from one thing to another. Basically, I started painting in 2000 when I realized that I cannot stay in the art market because it's full of blood.
Okay.
It's a red ocean, and I wanted a blue ocean.
All right.
So basically, I'm autodidact. We have all the information inside us.